What's going on, everyone? Matt here from the PT Profit Leverage and Lifestyle Show. I've got one of my amazing clients here, Pablo. He's got some epic results to share with us. To give you guys a bit of insight, he's actually just recently moved all of his clients over to online, and he's moved over or back home in Spain after doubling his face-to-face business in Sydney. So, Pablo, welcome to the show. How are you, my friend?
Thank you very much, Matt. It's a pleasure for me to be invited to the podcast, and looking forward to having this chat with you. I think it's going to be very interesting, and yeah, awesome. I'm feeling very good and ready to go.
Awesome. So it's afternoon for me, very early for you over in Spain. So
Yeah.
for those who don't know who you are, Pablo, do you want to give us a bit of an insight into, I suppose, your a summary of your journey, or even maybe what you were like before you were a PT, like your previous jobs and that type of stuff?
Yeah, to give a bit of context. So here in Spain, I studied 2 degrees. I studied sports science and I studied physiotherapy. After my studies, I worked as a strength and conditioning coach and physiotherapist for a rugby team, and also I was working as a personal trainer. At that time, I was working as an employee, so I was working for someone. Here in Spain, is more common the concept of a personal training center instead of being a personal trainer in a commercial gym. That is more the Australian model is what I saw when I went there. And yeah, after that, I also started an entrepreneurship with a mate. We were renting like a room, like a physiotherapy room in a tennis and paddle club, and we were doing some physiotherapy there. So I was very busy at that time. I had 3 jobs with the rugby team as a personal trainer and as a physiotherapist. So busy times. And after that, what I feel is like, oh, I need to do something different because in that way, I'm gonna do always the same, and I want to change something. Also, I wanted to develop my English, and I wanted to live in a with a different culture and something different. So that's why my partner and I, we decided to move to Australia. And in Australia, I've been working as a PT in a commercial gym in the fitness first for a couple of years. And then recently I moved back to Spain. And now I'm just working online. So I'm an online PT. And yeah, that's a bit of a summary of what's my journey been.
Awesome. Love it. Yeah, I want to kind of dive into the face-to-face part first, and then I'd love to discuss the transition to online. And of course, we'll probably talk about some of the challenges as well, because not everyone, um, everyone wants to hear, everyone wants to hear the highlight, but they also want to hear about the challenges as well that you had to overcome during that time. So, do you want to give us some insight into what business was like before you started working with me? Because you were doing, you were doing okay before
Yeah.
working together. So do you want to give us kind of like that point where you're at then?
So yeah, at the beginning when I started, for me was very hard because as I said, I had experience as a personal trainer, but as an employee. So when you're an employee, you don't have to care about getting new leads. You don't need to do any sales. You don't need to do marketing. So for me, it was something new, and it was a big challenge because first I wasn't adapted or I wasn't very aware of that model. So for me at the beginning was like living in a new country and then having that new experience. So it was a big challenge. And at the beginning for me it was pretty hard to find clients. So um, I wasn't used to do the sales process, for example. So for me it was like once I was doing a couple of sessions, like a trial sessions. After that, to do the sale, It was like, okay, these are my services. If you're interested, fine. Otherwise, uh, let me know if you need something. And I changed a lot the way of presenting my offer and my services, and it was a very tough journey. So at the beginning, the first month I didn't have any client, and then from the second month, as I started paying the rent of the gym, because the first month it was free, it was like a ramp. So the second month I said to myself, like, I need clients. Otherwise, I'm going to be paying the rent and I'm not getting any profit. So I changed a little bit the way of presenting my sale, and then I changed a little bit my mindset in the way of I was more interested on trying to provide a good service to the leads, to the possible clients, more than trying to sell something to them. And I think that was very important. I think the first month I was a bit of desperate trying to sell something. And then once I changed the mindset and I focus on, okay, let's try to provide a good value, and the benefit is going to be for them, it's not going to be for me, the money is going to be a consequence, then everything changed. And yeah, so from the second month, I had a very good progression, but I struggle with retention, for example. That is something like some people were training with me for 2 weeks, and then they said like, oh, I need to stop by some reason. Other clients stay with me for a longer time, but it was a bit unstable. Also, I tried different alternatives or different strategies, like a 12 weeks challenge that I know that you've been talking about recently about that. And as you said, it's something that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like under my experience, um, just setting the date in which they're finishing the service with you. So, and that's terrible for the business,
Yeah.
because it's not going to be a long term. So in my mind, or what I thought is like, okay, maybe it's a good way to start, and after that, after the 12 weeks, they may continue. But it wasn't like that. It's exactly what you've been saying in your podcast and in your videos. Is like just setting the date in when they're finishing the personal training. So after that, it's very difficult to continue with service.
Yeah, I remember having that conversation with you when we first started about that, because it's 100% right. And some people that they'll sell like PT packs. For those who don't know, PT packs is where you buy like 5 PT sessions and you pay up front for 5 sessions. But then you've got to try and resell them again every time they have to buy 5 sessions. Whereas if
Correct.
you would just have people on a recurring or weekly payment where it's just happens every single week. It's part of their lifestyle. They train every week with you. They get payments coming out every week. It's a lot less friction, and then people get used to having it as part of their lifestyle. And that's why I like challenges do work to generate more people, but um, as we've experienced, it does set like an end date. So they're always in that short-term mindset. Um, do you, I'll kind of put you on the spot here, but do you remember some of the things that I was, or not so much straight away, but some of the things that I taught you about forecasting? Do you remember me talking about forecasting results for people to kick them in the long-term mindset?
100%. And that's all the things that I changed when I started working with you. So first I stopped doing that 12-week challenge,
Mm.
and was that like forecasting for a year, for long term, like, okay, what's which are your goals? Your goals are, I don't know, reducing 5 or 6 kgs. So let's set that for a long term. And after that, like setting like short-term goals, and in that way people feel motivated to keep training with you, and so they have the big picture of, okay, I have to lose 6 kgs, or I want to gain 6 kgs of muscle mass. And they have the big picture that's going to be for long term, but then in the short term, they know what to do every month or every 2 months. So that helps a lot first to keep them motivated. That is one of the keys for them to continue training with you. Um, and also they see that they are advancing every single month or every 2 months. So they feel that they are on track. And that helps a lot to keep training and to reach the goals. That is the most important thing, of course.
Yep, love it. And I'm curious to know what was the I'm kind of trying to remember exactly what happened when we first started, but what was retention like once we changed from that, that model of 12-week challenges to just a standard recurring, like I think I'm not sure exactly what your offer is now, but I think it's a minimum 12 weeks with a notice period to leave. So keeps people in that mindset to say, hey, look, it's going to be a minimum of 12 weeks, but go for as long as you want. If and when you need to stop, you just got to give XYZ notice period. So what was your retention like after that happened?
So before it was, as I said, it was terrible. My retention. So some clients coming, some clients going, and as I said, it was pretty unstable. So the model that I had is like first they needed to pay every single week manually. So for some of them, for example, they were setting transfer to me, but some of them they were paying me like, okay, I have to pay you this week transfer, or if someone was paying by cash, fine. But it was I know, and that's something that we talk about. That's something painful for them because it's like every week it's like they have to click the button to send the money, and that's pretty painful. And of course, if there's any other expense that come to them, the first thing they're gonna think is like, okay, for this week I'm not paying personal trainer because I have other expense to cover. So that's something that when I changed to a direct debit to recurrent payment, it changed definitely my business. Because with direct debit, what people think about is like, okay, I'm committed with this personal trainer, and then I have to figure out how to manage the other expenses if another expense is coming. So I think that changed a lot my business, and I felt more stable. Then before I didn't have any minimum term of 12 weeks or something. So that's it. Like some people started training with me for a month, and then they said like, oh, I don't know, my rent increased in 100 bucks, so I can pay you anymore. Fine. But now with the minimum term, so first they start experiencing the results after 12 weeks. So that's something basic. In that way, they say like, oh, that works, and I have to continue. And then the recurring payment is a life changer.
Yeah, 100%. And then what you do as well, right? And just to add on what you were talking about, and I kind of get this set up with all my clients these days, is like you want to be like reforecasting like every 4 to 6 weeks, right? Because then they've always got a long-term goal that they're working towards. So there's really no reason for people to ever want to leave unless there's some crazy thing that happened. So yeah, I mean, I forgot about the direct debit stuff. I forgot you used to get people to pay like on the spot.
Correct.
Because yeah,
That was very
it's,
bad.
it's crazy because like subconsciously every time you tap in it, you're like, do I really need this?
Yeah, correct.
And like if you give them a really hard session and they're like, is it really worth the whatever it is? So it's a constant reminder of them, you know, logically they're like, oh geez, do I really have to keep paying this much money?
Correct.
You know,
100%.
when something's automated, it's the same with everything that we automate these days. Like automated reminders, automated transfers. You just don't even realize it even happens, and it just
Correct.
becomes part of the lifestyle. So that's awesome. I do remember as well. Um, Correct me if I'm wrong, but your first consult that you did with the new sales process. You also got someone signed up for 3 sessions a week, $200 a week.
Correct. So that was three. So when I changed the model of my sale presentation, so thanks to you after talking to you, and then after you teaching me all that stuff, first consult that I had, it was very curious and it was a big impact for me because I sold it very easy. So changing just the structure because the service it was pretty similar. I didn't change much of my service compared to what I was doing before. It was more how I presented my service and then how I structured the presentation as well. So yeah, after doing that sale, what I said is like, oh, that works, and it works so easy. So I didn't need to give other options. So I started with my top option, and the lead at that time that is she said like, yeah, I want that option. So she didn't give me the chance to give her more options. It was like, yeah, that's the one that I want, and it was a big expense. I mean, it wasn't cheap, let's say. Um, and she was very committed to that option. And it happens the same. It happened the same for the second, for the third. So people knew exactly what they wanted after presenting my top option because I changed. So my service was pretty similar. What I changed is what I was including. So more the value that I was providing. That doesn't mean that I included new services or new things. It was just detailing what my service consists of.
Yeah. So the member had a higher perceived value for what, even though
Correct.
you didn't really change any or didn't change much about what you included, the way that we packaged it together, the perceived value dramatically increased, which made what you were actually offering in terms of pricing really desirable, which is probably why you had. I don't remember if there was any objections, but I'm pretty sure there was no objections for the first couple of consults, and they were just like, "Yep, I'll take that one. Thank you very much. Here's my card. Set up the direct debit. Thank
Correct.
you very much."
It was so easy. It was so easy to sell it. And in my mind, it was like, oof, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to sell this pack at this price. But then what I felt is like the price is not a problem. If I would say that cost $1 million, people will say, yeah, that's the one that I want. So I said, so it changed completely because before that, before working with you, it was a big struggle to say, okay, I have this option, but also I have this one. In case that doesn't work for you, I have this other one. So different alternatives, and people usually choose the cheapest one. But in this case, it was like, this is the option, the main option that I have. And people say, yeah, that's the one that I want. That's the one that I need, actually.
Perfect. Easy as. So you're just basically, you know, identifying the problem, providing a solution to the problem, and then, obviously matching up the budget to suit. Very, very good, mate. So
Correct.
obviously you got off to a very good start after we started working together. So what was the well, what happened after that? So I think I said it at the start. I think you managed to double the business. So do you want to give us a or what that experience was like when you were, crushing it face to face?
Yeah, so before we started working together, I was doing like between 15 to 20 sessions. So it wasn't bad, but it wasn't what I wanted. So I needed something else. Just because I don't like to feel comfortable with that low number. So I said like I want to make as many sessions as I can. So I need more people, and then that's what we've been talking about, like how to how to change that and how to increase the number of sessions that I was doing. So we run different strategies to get more leads. And then with that new sales presentation, it helped a lot to get more clients. And then I went from 15 to 20 to 35 to 40 sessions per week. So that was a really big change. And also it was what I felt is like that's so easy. It's something that I can replicate. So if I want more clients and I replicate this process, I'm gonna continue getting more clients. So that was what made me feel more stable, safer, happier, and also the retention was good as well. So it wasn't like, okay, I'm getting a new client this week, I'm getting a new client this week, but then another client is moving away. So it was like continue building the business, and it was a one step after other, and it was great. That was, yeah, that's how I felt after doing that. It was like I feel very confident with my personal training business, and then very stable. It was like before doing 15 to 20 sessions, it wasn't a bad money, but it's like uh, I need something else. I want to keep developing my business.
How good. That's awesome. So we're at the stage now where you doubled your face-to-face business, and then you actually so you're on like a certain visa. I'm not sure which one, but you're on a visa which I think you from memory it was going to expire. And actually, let's just pause for 1 second. Sorry, team, just had to step out for a second. Okay, we're back. So we're talking about Pablo's visa. So yeah, I'm not sure exactly what visa you were on, but essentially there was a time limit that you were, I think, allowed to stay in Australia for, and we were tossing up whether or I think it was whether you try and extend it for longer or whether you move back to Spain. So do you want to talk us through, I suppose, the decision to move back to
Yep.
Spain instead of staying in Sydney?
So my visa at that time, it was a COVID visa. So COVID visa in Australia was after COVID, obviously, and it was a visa that they allow for immigrants to, like, Australia needs some people to work. So they said, like, as we need people, we're gonna give this visa, and then the requirements were very basic and very easy. Um, and that's why we picked that visa, because it was the easiest one for us. Um, so we had that COVID visa for, it was a year until, if I'm not wrong, February, or yeah, February 2024. And before that, so they said, like, if you're in a COVID visa, you can apply for an extension until the end of January, I think. So we had the possibility to apply for the extension. That was 6 months. But then we applied at the end of January, but then we didn't receive our answer till May. So we were like, we don't know if we're gonna get the granted, or if they're gonna reject our visa. So we were in a pretty unstable situation, and saying, like, what if they say no and we have to leave the country? So we were preparing everything in case we need to leave the country. Fortunately, we they gave us the extension in May, and actually, I think till now I'm having visa till the 15th November. But my partner decided to move back to Spain, and she said, like, oh, I want to study a master. So she tried to find a master in Australia, but it was pretty expensive compared to Spain, because as an immigrant is a bit more expensive than if you're a resident. So she said, like, okay, I will study that back in Spain, and that's why we moved recently, 1 month ago. It feels like we've been in Spain for 3 months, because many things has been running during this time, but it's been just 1 month. But now we are settled, and living a new adventure and new experience.
Awesome. Happy days. So I remember that time because we were starting to get some systems organized for online in case we had to move back pretty quickly. But I'm very curious to know about the transition from face to face to online because obviously you had a fair few clients. Um, so talk to me about the transition from face to face to online. What worked, what didn't work, possibly. Because I haven't really heard too much of the challenges because everything seemed to go relatively smoothly, to be honest. But
Yep.
yeah, talk to us through the transition because a lot of people want to do the transition to online, but they think really, really hard. So
Yep.
curious to hear your perspective on this one.
Yeah. So in my case, as I was leaving the country, I need to tell my clients like I'm leaving the country in a month. So what we can do is, as we study the process of changing your body composition, either reducing body fat and increasing muscle mass, or just increasing muscle mass, what we can do is continue with this process, but online. So what we prepared is like a service that is pretty similar to what I was doing as a face-to-face personal trainer. The only thing they are missing, let's say, is they don't have me as a spotter for the exercises. They don't have the possibility to be chatting with me during the trainings, and I'm not loading and unloading the barbells or the weight for them. That's the only thing that is different because the rest of the service is exactly the same. So I prepare programs, training programs for them. I prepare nutritional programs, and then they have the support every single week and mostly every single day. So um, most of them they say like, yeah, let's try. So I gave them the possibility to try that for a month, and they say like, yeah, let's try. I'm very happy with your service, and I want to continue training with you as you know me very well. Um, and what I felt is like they know how to train. So it's like it's going to be just having the commitment with yourself to keep going to the gym at the same time. Even is what I told them. Like you can continue going to the gym same day, same times as we were training together. You will have your training program, and you will have the support. If you have any question, you can ask me at any time. We were doing like some forms every single week. We were doing like some calls. So all the probably that's the most important thing of the service is all the support that I had that they have is what they feel like is working for them. So with all that support, they know that every single week they're gonna be progressing. So in that way, they don't need me to be there. Probably they're gonna be lifting a little bit less heavy than if I would be there. Obviously, if they're training by themselves, they don't have anyone behind them to spot them. But what I set for them is the reference weight that they should be lifting. So in that way, they know how heavy they should be lifting to have an effective set. Um, and that's it. That every single week we update that and we have a chat. So they have to fill a form how the week is been for them in terms of performance in the trainings, in terms of implementation of the nutritional program. And every week they have to set some goals for that week. Goals, something very basic that can be like going to the gym 4 times this week or following my nutritional program 6 days this week. So in that way, they continue the progression and they getting their results. Doesn't matter if I'm there or not. They are having probably the same results as if I would be there working face to face with them.
Yep, 100%. Love it. I completely agree because obviously I've made the transition for all of my clients as well, and a lot of them are actually finding it's not so much better, but they're enjoying having everything at the tip of their fingers that they can message for extra support pretty much any time. But it sounds like it was a relatively smooth transition, and all your clients were pretty open to the suggestion. One of the things that I think worked really well is because one thing that I got you to do with your clients is actually set them up on the app and stuff while you were in Australia and do it with them a few times to make sure they understood everything and how it worked to make it an easy transition. So do you feel like that played a part in making it a relatively smooth transition?
100%. So that was one of the most important things, and that was one of your advice. Like, start setting the app with them. So send them just to to give some context. What I'm using is an app with my clients that is Trainerize. So what I did is sending them the invitation to the app, so they register themselves. And while we were training face to face the last week or the last 2 weeks, we were following the program instead of in a Google Drive that that was what I was doing before. Um, in the app in Trainerize, so they started getting used to use the app to follow the program. So while I was training them, I told them, okay, let me check the next exercise. So next exercise, we have the superset. So I was explaining them the superset, but they needed to record the weights that they were lifting after the set. So that was a bit of a training on how to use the app and how to follow the program while training by themselves. So I think that helps a lot. Also the check-in forms. We did a coaching call before I left as well. That is something that is included in my service. Every 2 weeks we do a coaching call in which I talk about a topic, and they make some questions after that related to the topic I talked about or related to the other stuff they need to solve. So yeah, 100%. I think that helped a lot to feel them safe following that. Because I think if I could start it after leaving, probably most of them would say like, that's something new. Probably I don't want to continue with the service. Thank you for everything. But having everything settled, it was much easier for them, and it was like, okay, what we started 1 2 weeks before I left, let's continue.
Yeah, 100%, 100% agree. I made one of the mistakes with one of my clients saying that, and I haven't really told anyone this really, but basically I did the same thing as what we did with you, and I said, "Yep, I'm going to get you all set up, and I'll get you to use the app during our sessions." And this particular client was, I trained the husband and wife, and I got the wife set up. She was ready to go. Happy days. And the husband was sick for like two out of the last three sessions.
Yeah.
Uh, and then I was like, oh, I sent him the invite and I was like, hey, I need you to set up the app so I can show you how to use it. He's like, oh, I forgot my phone. Can I do it next session? And I was like, oh, all right, fine. And then literally the next two sessions he was sick. And then guess what happens? After I leave the gym, I'm like, hey mate, I need to organize a Zoom or a catch up to set up the app. And he's like, oh, it's too much hassle, don't worry about it. And now he didn't do it. It was my fault. So I needed to get it set up.
Another lesson, never failure.
Lesson learned. We can't all be as good as Pablo.
No,
Gee.
no, no. In my case, I don't know. I was not pretty lucky, because that's not luck, of course. But I think thanks to your advice and the good retention that I built, thanks to that, I think that was pretty easy to continue working with them but online. So also I built a very good relationship with them, and I have, and they're so nice. And we still having like some calls pretty often. If they need anything, they can call me. So they're my clients, but also they're kind of friends. And I feel that that close relationship also helped a lot to continue with the service, and also that they were pretty happy with the personal trainer or the personal training before moving. So for them, I think it was easy to continue, and I think that was the key. So building a good relationship and also providing a good service, I think that helped a lot to continue working with them online.
Awesome. Love it. So we covered a fair bit today. So we covered how you went from struggling as a face-to-face trainer to doubling the business and then making a successful move to online, plus moving back to Spain. What are the plans next? Do you plan on keep growing online? Are you going to do face-to-face in Spain? What are you thinking?
So what I feel is now I'm at my 1% of my online PT career. So, and I'm pretty happy with the results that I'm getting right now. So it's like, even though I'm in the 1%, I have like so many things left to do to keep progressing my online business. So I'm gonna try different methods. I'm gonna try different strategies to build it as much as I can. So I'm enjoying this time. I have more time, or what I can do is like organize better my time because I don't need to meet someone at these days at this time specifically. What it was happening in back in Sydney. Um, so now I feel that I have more flexible time, and that helps me a lot to develop other stuff. So for example, now I'm focused on social media. That is something kind of painful for me because I wasn't used to post anything, but not even about personal trainer. Um, Nothing about my life. So if you see my posts or my stories before, it was just reposting my partner's stories every time we were going out or every time we were doing something different. So now is building or trying to provide some value. So it's becoming more visible, and for people to say like, oh, this is Pablo now. He's focused on helping people online to increase muscle mass. That is my main niche, let's say. So now I'm building so some posts, trying to provide some value. It takes me a bit of time because sometimes he's repeating and repeating, and it's like I'm not happy with the result, and he's changing and modify things, and it takes a long time. But I think it's gonna become more automatic the more I practice it. And so that's one of the ways I want to keep developing my online business. And other ways is like same learning different strategies from you. That is what I told you. Like I feel like you are 10 steps forward than me. So just following the things that you've been doing during all this time with your clients, and I think I'm gonna keep getting results. And now I have like 15 clients, and I'm at my 1%. So imagine what I can reach if I continue with the process.
100%. It's only just the beginning, mate. And as you said, like I'm consistently learning new things as well. So I'm testing all these things in my business, and then whatever works, I'll pass on to everyone else, and whatever doesn't work, I'll keep it to myself. And
That's what I like the most. Like you're always bringing new ideas, and for example, in our meetings, what you say is like, oh yeah, I'm working with this virtual assistant, and it's like, what's a virtual assistant? Or yeah, this a process of automatization with AI, and it's like, what's that? So I feel like I have so many things to do, and that I'm not doing right now. So it's like I have a long journey to do.
yes, 100%. The world is moving very fast, so
Correct.
we need to keep up with the trends that are going on in the industry. But more than likely, some people probably want to follow the journey as well. So if people want to check out your socials with your new and improved content, where would they have to go to see the content? What's your handles?
Yeah, so my Instagram is the Sanchez Method, or they can find me by my name, Pablo Sanchez. And basically, I've posted, I think, 3 posts right now, but I'm gonna continue building that. So you can follow me, and you can see my evolution, because probably my first video is gonna be horrible compared to the 100 video that I post. So in that way, you can see everything that I'm all the changes that I'm gonna be implementing to improve the quality of my videos and to keep providing value to my viewers.
Awesome. How good. All right, champion. Thank you so much for to jumping on today. Provided heaps of value and really good insight on how people can not only grow their face-to-face business, but how to actually transition online as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you for the invitation. I enjoyed a lot.
Awesome. Thank you.